Well, this was a real pile of shit. Let's rank this film on the Cageometer.
All right, that leads us to the most important question of this slog. Vince, where does Arsenal 2017 rate on your Cageometer?
I'm fucking over this movie. So 1 for the movie, just awful. Just fucking awful. We beat this horse to death. It makes no sense. I still don't understand. Like, I know what the basic points of the movie are. I still don't remember most of this fucking movie because it was just such.
We just went over it in excruciating detail.
Yeah. And it's just all blurs together. It's just fucking garbage. It could have been a half-hour TV show, been more coherent.
Yeah.
And then as for Cage, you know, the fact that he brought the character back bumps up my score for him. I got to give him a 2.
What was it going to be? A 1?
A 1.
Yeah. But he had that one line about my brother's trying to fucking kill me, man. And that brought it up to 2 because you're like, oh, that's the Eddie I sort of remember.
Hey. I just feel like it honestly makes me more angry now, knowing that he was the one that brought this character to the film.
Yeah.
And he did nothing with it. Nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not a bad performance because there's really no fucking performance. And I'm not going to give him a 1 because I mean, I know there's movies out there where he truly is a 1. Unfortunately, I don't have to watch those. But I can't give it anything more than a 2 because he brought the idea and didn't even fucking fulfill on what he wanted to do or what the character could have been. And it just made the scenes with him less enjoyable, which is not something that typically happens in a Cage film for me. He always seems to bring something that makes me enjoy him being on screen. This one, not so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 out of 10 for Mr. Cage. 1 out of 10 for the movie because this movie is just hot garbage. Just fucking awful. 92 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
And then 3 hours of us talking about it.
3 hours of us talking about it, which is the only thing that made this movie enjoyable. Is being able to break it down with you guys.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes watching these movies, I'm actually excited when they're just hot garbage because it's so much fun to talk about them afterwards.
Yeah.
Like Dog Eat Dog. That movie was so bad, but it was so much fun to talk about.
Yep.
All right, Nigel, where does this rate on your Cageometer?
This is one of the worst films I've ever seen. It doesn't have any redeeming qualities in my mind. It's awful. It's ugly. It's not fun it's boring. Every character is unlikable. Everyone in it. It's just the story is cobbled together. It makes no sense in a lot of parts. I didn't have as problem following it as Vince did, as much of a problem, but it's not a story worth telling. So I gave it a 1 as well. Anything I can do to encourage someone to not see this film, I feel it is my duty to do that because it is a waste of time. There's nothing you'll get out of it. Even the morbid curiosity of seeing Eddie King again on screen is ruined by the fact that he doesn't really act like Eddie King for most of the film that he's in.
I think that's the whole reason that we chose to do this movie so early on in our run was because we had found out that there was an Eddie King appearance.
Yeah. But it's the acting's bad from pretty much everybody, including Nick Cage, in my opinion. And it's just there's nothing to get away. There's nothing to take away from this film except your time of your life that you will sacrifice watching it.
There's those neat slow-mo shots.
Yeah. Sorry to everybody involved in this turd pile, but it is not. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
I guess you're in good company with Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance on my rating scale, if you can take solace in that. But
so that happened.
I think no, I don't is going to replace that happened as an in joke for terrible dialogue. So for Cage, I gave him a 2 as well, and that's only because of, again, the morbid curiosity of seeing Eddie King again. If you're curious about that, it's worth watching maybe a scene from our YouTube of Cage's moments to see him do it for 10 seconds. And then that's it.
Skip the rest of the movie. Just watch those clips. That's
right. And like I said, like Vince said, it's I feel worse now knowing that it was his idea to play the character and then not give us anything that we liked about Eddie King, he liked or whatever. It's kind of baffling to me that he was the one that decided to play the character again and then not give us anything that was worth or resembled to Eddie King. I mean, a couple moments, but it's just poor performance. Really feels like he phoned it in despite doing some cagey stuff in it, but it's like he didn't want to be there. Cusack didn't really want to be there. It doesn't seem like anybody really wanted to be in the movie. But yeah, so
even his cagey moments were like bad. I mean, they just weren't interesting.
It's cartoonishly bad too, like in a way that Eddie kind of was in Deadfall, but a lot of characters in Deadfall were cartoon characters. It seemed like they were over the top and memorable, and he was one of the more over the top and memorable ones. And I watched my review of it again. I gave him an 8 for that movie for a lot of the same reasons. Like that movie wouldn't be worth watching unless it was without Nicolas Cage's involvement, in my opinion. And so many of what people know Cage as a crazy performer comes from that film as Eddie. And you get none of that in this. You get stuff you've seen before where he kind of does some weird shit and he kind of swears at people and does stuff, but it's not anything that's memorable that you really need to memorable or memeable or whatever you want to call it. So this one's a miss.
By the way, as a side note, on the commentary, the director and Jonathan Skeet kept saying Maymays.
Oh no.
God.
That's why Nicolas Cage is a walking Maymay.
Oh my God.
You mean me?
How old is the director?
He's not that old.
No. Jesus. I think he graduated college in 2005, so he's he's a little older than us, maybe.
Maymays.
Maymays. God, Jesus Christ. Dude. I mean, I guess that makes sense if he'd never seen Deadfall and hadn't even watched the clip of Nicolas Cage May.
So watch me whip.
Yeah.
Watch me May.
Yeah, again, 2 out of 10. The only reason I don't give him a 1 is because of the novelty of seeing Eddie King again, sort of, for 5 seconds or whatever. And other than that, no, there's no reason to watch this movie.
Yeah. I guess that leads me to mine. I'm waffling because I originally gave it a 2 out of 10, but now I'm struggling to figure out any redeemable qualities of this film. The music,
but like you said, it gets muted. It disappears.
It just disappears. Yeah,
you could tell me it was stock music, and I wouldn't.
Yeah,
bat an eye.
I would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
It's the South Park guys, man. You would think it would be great. Fuck it, I'm giving it a 1. This movie sucks.
Oh, this is going to be the worst score then.
This is the worst score,
movie yet so far.
Deservedly so, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go through it. Music was not memorable. Editing was not great. I have to give him credit for cobbling together scenes where actors weren't actually acting with other actors. It's like the scenes with Cage where he's acting with Mikey. They weren't even they didn't shoot on the same, like the wide shots they were together, but the close-ups not so much. The cinematography was horrible, dude. It was like
it was shaky cam for everything.
Yeah, it's like
you make jokes about the guy, the cameraman having a seizure in different scenes, but it was like that for every scene. It was just like they were just like loosely holding a camera while people were just talking.
They did a little bit of work on lighting in a few shots, like the scenes, the scene where like little kid Mikey is walking through the arcade and it's following him and everything else is blurred was pretty cool. I thought that was a great shot. Some of the shots in the strip club are all right. The shot where Mikey's about to shoot himself, where there's a little bit of lighting, but it's framed terribly. It's bad. It's bad all the way through. The acting is fucking atrocious. You got to give them credit because they wrote their own fucking lines, apparently. Still, it's like Jonathan Skeek, whatever, is He's okay, I guess. Adrian Grenier is bad. Cage is just, he didn't bring much to the table of trying to recapture the glory of a character nobody gives a fuck about. I don't know why. I don't understand that choice at all. Cusack was, he was there. He was there.
He could have
didn't bring
anybody.
anything interesting to it. Nothing memorable. Nothing. I mean, I guess his outfit.
His look.
That's what he brought to the table.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just poor execution on every part. Like the story doesn't make any sense, and at a certain point, they just abandon the storyline that they're going for. And like, I get that, like, you know, they had other things in mind, and they ran out of time, and they had 13 days. But that's the onus on you. Like, if I had the money that these people were given to make this movie and 13 days and Nicolas Cage and John Cusack, I could have made a way fucking better movie. Yeah. Way fucking better than this piece of shit. This was just like, it was just, well, we got these people, we got to make something, so let's just make something and put it out. It's not even a movie. It's terrible.
No.
Absolute garbage. For Cage, I also gave him a 2. It's kind of tough to give him a 2. I almost want to give him 1 because it's just bad, dude. Why did you make that decision to bring this character into it? I think maybe he read the script and was like, this is so fucking terrible that the only way anybody is going to ever want to watch this is if I bring back a fucking character from another movie.
Yeah. If I bring back that Mimi character.
Or it was a joke between him and his brother. Just to
I
see
think
if
that's
they
what it
could pull
really
off.
was.
Yeah.
Let's just see if we can fucking trick this guy into making us allowing us to make a sequel to that piece of shit that you made back in 1993.
Well, why not lean into it then? Like you did
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Pitfall. That's
Exactly.
where I get offended the most by this. Like you fucking tricked us, bro.
Terrible.
Come on.
Again, unless it was like we speculated, like he tried to do that and the director wasn't having it.
Yeah,
and didn't
maybe.
understand what he was doing.
Yeah,
So
he could
maybe
be,
he
yeah,
toned it down
yeah.
because he was told to. But
True.
it doesn't seem like it. It seems like he was calling the shots for whatever scenes he was doing.
Yeah,
So
he wrote that note and all that shit.
You know, we all have an off day, and he was only on set for one
Literally
day.
a day.
So,
yeah.
so maybe he was just having an off day that day. I don't understand why this movie was made, personally. There's nothing of merit about it whatsoever.
I mean, we
Story's
talked about how
bad
I don't know. We didn't because there's like there's like 8 studios that worked on it or something based on the opening credits. Like
recurring theme with these really bad indie movies is that there's like 8 different studios, and you know sometimes that might be the reason for how bad it is. Is like too many cooks in the kitchen. Trying to fucking like save the movie because I'm sure the cuts that they were given, and it seems like there was studio interference because they changed the fucking name of the movie. They made them lose major plot points because like the uncle raping Mikey at the beginning was cut. Mikey killing himself to save his brother was cut. So I don't know. Maybe this is on the studio. I don't know whose fault it is, but it's just bad. And it's your job to deliver something to us that's good, and you didn't. And therefore, 1 out of 10. Cage could have probably brought something more to this, but he didn't. So 2 out of 10. I feel like those are fair scores across the board for all 3 of us.
Yep.